Well, hello everyone. This is Robin Carter, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas. And today I'm going to share with you my second video of making alternative cards using the February 2024 paper pumpkin kit named Sweet Springtime. So before we begin, let me take care of some business. Going on now is the subscription period for the March paper pumpkin, which is named Memorable Meadows. So the subscription period for this ends March 10th. So don't miss out on this kit. One good thing about the March kit is that is the anniversary month of when Paper Pumpkin began. So we usually get something extra, and this time it's going to be an extra stamp set. Now you can kind of see the image here. My printer didn't do the best job, but that's going to be the extra stamp set as well as the normal stamp set that will be in the kit, which will be a surprise as of right now. So this kit will also coordinate with the Meandering Meadows Sweet Collection, item number 162745. And if you have this kit or love that kit, I recently did a class on my YouTube channel featuring 24 cards with just a quarter pack of that DSP, which is Designer Series paper. So if you're interested in that, that will be in my YouTube channel. Just click on my name, and then the easiest way is to then click on videos, and then they'll be sorted in date order, most recent to the latest. So check that out if that's something that interests you. And also still available, last I checked, the add-on dies for this quarter of Paper Pumpkin kits is available. The item number is 164396. And as you can see, we got the love, which went with the January, these daffodils, which go with the February, the leaves, which are meant for this kit, but I've used it throughout both kits, and then a nice stitched label. And let me see if I have that cut somewhere. I think I have it right here. Here are the dies. So it's a good sized label with some stitching. Let me get one out for you. So this is a great thing to add. Here's one of the leaves cut. You can see the detail that it has there for veining. The label's a good size. So it's pretty good value, and it goes with this kit as well as I'm sure you can use it for months to come, much like I'm going to use a previous one in my alternative. So also don't miss out on Celebration. It ends February 29th. And if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, also note that you can do a prepaid subscriptions. They are available in 1 month, 3 month, or 6 months and a year. My favorite is 6 months at a time. I don't know why, it just is. And you can still skip months as you need to if for some reason you know you're going to be really busy, just want to skip a kit. Even if you have a 6 month or year or more subscription, you can not cancel. You can suspend kits as needed. You don't have to do them 6 months consecutively. But those help, and when you do a prepaid, it helps. Let me slow down a second. If you do a prepaid subscription that's at least $50 or more, you would qualify for a free Celebration product. So Celebration has, it's a time of year, which I said ends February 29th, when you make merchandise purchases of at least $50, you can choose items in this kit. There are some that are available at the $100 item, which this was my favorite $100 price point. And then they've done some additional things that are available in the online store. You can check that out by going to the online store and then looking at specials. So just be sure you select those before you check out, and you may qualify for those. So before we start on our cards, let me thank those of you that have subscribed to my channel. As I've mentioned, I've set myself a pretty hefty goal this year to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you can help be a part of that, thank you so much, and let's begin with our alternatives. So if you missed my other alternatives, I've only done one other video so far. I'm working as quick as I can, as well as doing some other classes while I'm doing Paper Pumpkin. So for the first card, you're going to need the Quatrefoil Tile 3D, it's not 3D, embossing folder. Now granted, any embossing folder would work, or if you don't have embossing folders, a plain background would be fine. And I've embossed that. You're going to need the envelope or the back of one of the cards that has the bunnies on it. Now here is some envelopes that I have cut up, and let me share with you one cutting tip. I've got to get out all my little goodies in this box. Let's hope they don't go missing. All right, I share this in my PDF that I give to my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, and little cutting guide. So I take little pictures. So if this is the full envelope, the flap would be there, which I've already used. I've cut up 2 so far. And then you need to cut off some extra. Now, I'm going to show you the 2 I made with the flaps later, but I also can take off the adhesive. And how I do that is I get just a damp paper towel, and then I slowly go across it. So you don't want to get it too wet, but it needs to be wet enough to where it can rub off the gumming part of that. And I generally use my silicone mat with that, so it doesn't get all over my paper, but whatever you want to use is fine. So for this card, I'm using part of the envelope. So you can get actually 4 cards like this with 1 envelope. So like I said, I've already used the flap of 2 cards, and then I'm going to start into the guts of the envelope. Now, if you don't want that many cards, just want to use the guts, you go right ahead. But I thought I would show you how to stretch your supplies the most. So this one I cut to 1.5 by 5 3/8. Now the envelope parts are a little bit shorter. They're 5 1/4, but that just made my mat a little bigger. So I'll show you that as we get to it. Okay, you're also going to want the second largest stylish shaped circle, and one of my favorite dies is from the Thoughtful Expressions. So this is the die set that came, and you're going to want the second largest. Let me go grab that die. I know I pre-cut it. Hold on just a second. Okay, I had left that over at my die cut machine, but here it is, and I cut it with the second largest die of this pretty shape. So this is, like I said, one of my favorite sets in the whole mini catalog. This was available in the mini January through April catalog. So it has a great set of dies that I've used on the last kit and this kit. All right. Again, if you don't have those, a simply larger circle would work. Even punches would work. You may have in your collection if you're not a die cut person. So let me adhere this to that so I don't lose it. And doesn't this go great with that shape? I really like how it looks when it's layered like that. All right, let's set that aside to dry. Okay, then we need a mat for this piece, which I have already pre-cut as well. Of course, I was digging through my goodies. Here it is. So this mat is 1 5/8 by 5 3/8. And actually, this is not 5 3/8. It should be 5 1/8. My error. Or 5 1/4, actually. Okay, let me fix this label for that. I'll have to retake a picture. But it's 5 1/4. Okay, so ignore that. It's 1/4. All right, and so then we're going to adhere that to our petal pink layer. I think it needs trim just a hair. It's not quite an equal border. So let's see how that looks. That looks better. So this is the Post-it note. Let me get that out. I should add this to my favorite things if it's not already. It's Post-it tape, and this is a skinny little one that I use for labels like that. They come in all different widths, and you can use those to help hold your dies down, etc. on your die cutting machine. And I'll have to double check to make sure, see if that's my favorite thing. Now, my favorite things I haven't mentioned yet, and I'm going to, those of you that have watched my channel before, this is repetitive, but in case there's a new person, my favorite things are items that Stampin' Up! Has that, or Stampin' Up! Does not have, that I find handy in organizing my craft room. So like these big, they're 7 by almost 9 envelopes, I keep pre-scored, cut and scored card bases in. They are also great for holding paper pumpkin kits. So like, rather than the box, I have everything in here, and it even holds the instructions. So let me slip that in there so that doesn't go missing. So there's this size, there's other sizes like this 5 by 7 that I use to hold my card components. So they really help keep me organized until I pull everything out looking for stuff. So I'm going to take my bone folder, give that a nice burnish. So that's a thick white card base. And then we're actually going to use the stamps in the kit. Now I have already stamped a few, and I use my scan and cut to make these. And I've shared back in October how I use my scan and cut with paper pumpkin stamps. So if you have a scan and cut, or maybe you're interested, what is that? Check out my videos. I believe it was around the 1st of October of 2023, and I show you how to use that. Now I already have even some pre-stamped. So I'm just going to pull one out pre-stamped. That's the bunny stamp we received, as well as a chick. I love this little chick. I think he's very cute. All right, so there's many different options you can use to color this. I'm actually going to use a blending brush, and I'm going to get out my Stamparatus, which has the negative in it. And this is how I do most of my stamps, whether it's a die or from my scan and cut, is I put the negative in my Stamparatus, which unfortunately is no longer available, but other stamp positioning tools would work. I put the stamp there, stamp down, and then I'm able to line this up to get it centered. So I'm going to put the bunny in there, which I've already stamped, and I'm going to get out Crumb Cake ink, and then I'm going to get a blending brush, which I have here for brown. All right, and then I'm just going to lightly, start very lightly, and then apply more pressure for more color. Color my bunny brown. Just a light brown to give him a little bit of color. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then my chick, you could use the same method, but I'm going to use, let me clean this. It looks like I didn't quite clean off my bunny last time. Anyway, this time I'm going to use my blends markers. Now, sometimes when you use your blend markers, you know, it's going to bleed through the paper. So you might want to get out a little piece of scrap paper, or like, this is a negative of an envelope that I, when I cut the envelopes apart. Not this kit because they're colored, but anyway. So this is the dark, and I am not an artist, but I just kind of go with kind of the lines they've given us. Maybe a darker little chest there. And then I'm going to get my light daffodil, and this is Daffodil Delight, and color him in all the way. I tend to prefer the blunt tip. I don't know why. I get a little messy with the brush tip. So you just want to go over the dark part and kind of blend out the dark. Of course, the brush tip would be faster on this one. And my daffodil may be getting dry, but let's go with this bigger part here and blend that all around. Okay, and then for his feet, and his beak, I'm gonna use pumpkin pie. These are small enough that I think my marker is gonna work fine. So I'm fine just going in with my marker. It's not gonna leave streak marks. Now, another thing that would work would be the watercolor pencils. So I have those here. There's, well, these are the ones for the leaves. But anyway, there's not a petal pink, which I'm going to put on his nose. But I have the marker for that. There's also a blends for that. But you could take, if you have a spot of this ink, and apply it using the blender pen, which is these right here. They come in a pack of 3. So that's another way you could apply color to your little chicks and bunny. Okay, so we have that done. Let's go back. I'm going to put this embossing folder away. So now I just want to start putting things together on my card. So I'm going to adhere this to the emboss layer. Now again, if you don't have an embossing folder, you could just glue this straight onto a white card base. I love the dimension and texture that embossing folders give to cards. So if you've noticed, it's very unlike me to not have an embossed layer on my cards. All right, let's attach, let me let that dry a second. That multi-purpose glue takes a second to dry. And so over here, we're going to want to build a scene with our bunny. Now, here are some things I brought in. This is a great addition if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber to get the bow punch. It creates these great leaves, and here's a tip. Notice here I put a 1 1/4 inch for the big leaf. So I have here a 1 1/4 strip, and I've already cut some because you don't want to take a whole sheet of paper and stick it in there and waste all that paper for if you don't want this little leaf. I think it's a sprig actually, but what I do is I take this and I stick it in the side right here with it upside down, and I make sure I've got everything, which I'm trying to see without getting my head straight over the top. And then you squeeze and you get a leaf. And I'll just do another one. And squeeze. Now, make sure you don't get your little hand right there. I have pinched myself several times with this style of punch, and let me tell you, it hurts. So keep your all finger parts away from when you squeeze. Now, yes, I have inky fingers, and I have a little boo-boo here, but my hands take a licking. So, all right, let's get those scraps out of the way. Now, I want to also introduce you to one more product in case you haven't noticed, and this is something that interests you. This is the Notes of Nature bundle, and it kind of left me. One thing that I saw in the catalog, I was like, ooh, I got to have that. But after taking further look, I noticed the leaves in this kit. Now, this is available as what I call a mega suite, which includes 2 stamp sets, 2 bundles, and all this product. But this one was my main interest right here because of the leaves. And here's a closer look. And this is the January through April mini catalog, which is available until April. Sorry about that. I got it real close. On page 43, this shows the Notes of Nature bundle. And let me show you the leaves cut out. It's right here. And so I love the veining that it gives to the leaves. These are in garden green. Don't know if that shows real well. And then even the sprigs have some veining. So I really like that. So, look through your stash, see what all you have for leaves. And my guess is you may have some if you are a collector of other bundles. This one is great. But there have been many out that I love the greenery for cards. All right, so let's when we put this together, we want to do it on the card so none of our leaves hang off. So let me feel to see, okay, this side's a little bigger, so we're going to make that the front. And now I can adhere this on. Now this is a full card front embossing folder. I usually make it a 1/4 inch smaller. I just didn't cut that one, this one, so we're going to go with the full front of this. Otherwise, I would need to trim down my layers here as well, unless I wanted it to go all the way top to bottom of my emboss layer. So since it's a full layer, I'm going to tap on the spine and the side. That way, in case any hangs off, I can trim it with my scissors here, but I need to wait till it dries before I do any trimming. All right, so let's start building our scene. I have my bow punch, which is in Granny Apple Green. And then I'm going to bring in these. Now, you could also use the leaves from the add-on dies. And I have made a card with those, which I'll show you when we finish. And then we're going to want 3 daffodils. Now, let me give you a tip of how I made these. I've pre-done 2. Okay, so I cut a full daffodil in Granny Apple Green, and then I cut just the tip using Daffodil Delight. And so all you need to do here is, if you have any stem, trim it off. And I already have some glue dots on the back. Now, I did use my liquid glue, and because of this detail in the die, some of it oozed through, so you may want to consider using a glue dot on that or a tape runner. And then you just set that over the top of the green. So that's how I created all 3 of those flowers right there. And we're going to make our scene with that. So let me just kind of get an idea for where I want things. And also on the card so it doesn't hang off. And then we will adhere some things down. Okay, so about right there. Now the easiest way, you can use tape. You can also use glue dots without even peeling off the backing. So let me show you what I mean. I have a few left on this little piece. So I'm just going to put that over the top. You know what? Tear and tape would work faster. So let me get some tear and tape. That way I can have a bigger piece. We have received tear and tape in our paper pumpkin kit, so maybe you have some left. All right, and so it's going to go where the bunny is going to cover him up. So let's just, if not, we can peel it off. But right now I'm just not going to peel, and let's see if it covers everything up. See, I didn't get that one, so I'm just going to put glue on him, set him in there. All right, let's see how that does. Bring our animals back. Okay, I am going to tear this off. I should have put the tape where I know for sure the bunny is going to go. And I took the glue dot off as well. And I'm going to also add some more Tombow multi-purpose glue to the bunny, which will also help hold down my greenery. Okay, and then the chick, we need to put him on. And I think the chick's going to be great to hold that leaf down. So let's put some liquid glue on the back of the chick. And put him right up there so he holds that down. But I have a straight scene. The chick's a little high, but I think that's okay. because he's got to hide that glue. So you might want to be careful if you do use tear and tape where you put that. So I like that scene. And so let's put this whole thing up on dimensionals. You might want to give it a shake. Just make sure all of your elements are glued down. And I'm going to use dimensionals. Now I cut the big dimensionals in half. So I find that's plenty big enough. And it helps stretch them. But you don't want to be stingy. You still want to put like 4 around so it doesn't sag in one place. All right, and then here's our scene. Let me bring that closer to the right-hand side without that leaf hanging off. Now you could use the greeting, springtime greetings, Happy Easter. Now I don't generally send out Easter cards, so I'm going to make Welcome Baby because my niece is expecting, and so this would be a cute card, I think, to give to her at her shower or when I first see the baby. So let's do Welcome Baby, and I'm going to use my Memento Tuxedo Black. Now, I just happened to have gotten a little one time. I do have the large ones. Let's hope I got enough ink, and hopefully my hair is not over the camera. Okay, worked out great. So I'm going to make this the Welcome Baby card. And again, you could do Happy Birthday. You could do anything you wanted to with this card. But I think that makes a cute baby card. Now let me show you the ones I made before. They're all going to turn out a little different, just kind of however you do your greenery. I may want to put another little something over that. As you can see, this one is quite full. These are the ones I did with the envelope flap. You can see that the petal pink is a little larger. So what do you think of that alternative? Oh, you know what? I forgot to color the bunny's ears. I'm going to use petal pink on that as well. And this is just a marker. I probably should get out my blend, but not a large area, so hopefully it's not too streaky. Okay, and I don't have a sentiment on this one yet, which I will add. So here is my first alternative for this video. And if you missed my first set, it's also on my YouTube channel, so check it out. All right, so let's get on to my second one. Now, my second one, I brought in a different embossing folder, Basics 3D. It doesn't matter. This is one of my favorites, and there's a layer. We're going to need another thick white card base. I had to make a whole lot of card bases not too long ago because I used them all. And let me get my bone folder. And boy, that thing is inky, isn't it? Is that where I'm getting the ink from? Let me wipe that off. This one. Well, I'll just clean him later. That is where I'm getting the ink. All right. Hopefully I don't get it on anything else. Okay, we're going to use the green envelope that I've cut open. Now, as you can see here, I also took the gum off of this envelope as well by using the same technique of a damp paper towel and going off. Now, if you follow my first alternative, we had this little strip left, minus the cutouts. We cut, so this is the full slimline card. We cut it at 4 inches, so we had about about 2 1/4 left. And I wanted to use this piece, so I brought that in. And then I remembered we had the vase from the Welcome In set back from 2023. So hopefully you were a subscriber from then, and this one had add-on dies as well, which I stick in with my stamps. But maybe you have the kit and don't have the dies and have the negative left. You could trace a vase to use for this, or maybe you have other vases. So that's what I brought in for this card. So let me get out all the pieces. So I die cut this from here, and as you can see, it just barely fits, but I was glad. This is the 3rd largest of the stylish shapes. Okay, and I've already made another card or two. that I'll show you. And then this one uses the second largest stylish shapes. Now, as you can see here, it just barely fits as well. Actually, oh, this is the gummy part. And even though it has the score line in there, this part of mine didn't show that bad, so I was going to use that part. That way it left me a big piece I could use there. So let me adhere this embossed piece to our card base so we can start building it up our card. How is my time doing? Okay, I'm right at 30 minutes, I think so. And this is the last one I'm going to show today. All right, again, that one is a full layer as well. Let me just give that a little press. So I did switch from my medicine bottles to hold my glue to little votive cups. So my medicine bottle kept falling over. So I wanted something with a little sturdier base. So if you hear the glass, that's what it is. All right, so we're going to make a little fun little card with that. Now I also cut, I'm trying to use the supplies in the kit. And so this is from the back, well, the flap of the envelope. I hardly have any left, so I'm kind of like, so this was the flap of the envelope when you cut it open. That's what I have left because I've cut two. Now, this is the same second largest. It's not quite big enough, but we're going to hide that part with our vase. And I've got a little ink there, but I'm hoping my blending brush is going to cover it up. So I wanted to make this a little more green. So I'm going to take a blending brush and my Granny Apple Green. Okay. This is a small blending brush. I hope I don't swirl my camera is attached to my table. And let me I have a laminated grid sheet here that I like to use if I don't use my glass mat. Now that's a little strong, stronger than I would like. So I'm going to cheat and I'm going to get out a pre-cut one, I think, or I can just go with it and be lighter on the sides. I should have went off like I normally tell people to do, but I think we'll be able to cover up most of that once I find my little envelope of pre-cut die cuts. Let me look in my bucket real quick. I didn't expect to mess up on that part. Lots of things I mess up on, but I didn't think I would mess that one up. Okay. All right, so again, we're going to build a scene and we need the dandelions. Now, or not dandelions, daffodils, Robin. So I brought in the same bow punch. I pre-did my daffodils. So I'm going to set this aside. Some more leaves. That's in garden green. 3 daffodils. And I think that's pretty good. All right. So let's start adhering some things down. Let's put this in the corner before we build our scene on our other circle. I was wondering where I'm getting all this ink. All right, and then the larger plaid. Now, some people use like the subtle embossing folder to get rid of any score lines, but that one has long been retired. And since this is plaid, I didn't want to add any more texture to it. So, as I said, I'm going to bring in the welcome in, and I have 2 vases already die cut from the add-on dies. And bring in my Stamparatus. Okay, so I already have it lined up, much like I said. I stamp on this, which you can clean off, and then I lay my negative over. You can see it's quite navy from when we did that kit. And I store this in the stamp set so I don't have to create any more. Now I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel. I just made myself a spot because I love to use spots with the Stamparatus rather than my big pad. So it's nice and juicy. Let's hope it's not too juicy. And let's press and give that a second for the ink. Now, I don't think I mentioned, if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber of mine, you will be receiving a little sleeve that you can store your stamps in to use over and over, as well as a 1-inch square. This month it's Early Espresso. So you can put that on the bottom of your spots. That way you can store your spots upside down so the ink is always nice and handy there on top. And much like our full-size pads are. All right, let's see if that's absorbed good. Should be. Okay, so that's our Blueberry Bushel vase. Let's get my chamois to clean that off. I love that little vase. It's a great set. And by the way, this set is still available at the, or was available last I checked, on the online store, the Welcome In Full Kit, which would include the stamp set. It would not include the dies, but again, you could use the negative of the vases to trace to make that. So I'm still trying to hopefully get my one of pre-cut circles because I really want to use a different one. You know what? I'm going to be right back. I'm going to cut another one just because I did not like how dark I did that blending. So let me cut another one. Okay, I'm back with my white die cut piece. Sorry about that, but I edited the video so you didn't have to wait for me to cut it. So I'm going to color this the way you're supposed to, is after you ink up your blending brush. I first started out on something. Now this could also be a block that you might have. You could swirl your ink just to get it flowing. And then I'm going to start in the middle very lightly and hopefully not swirl the table. So I'm going to go slower so I don't make you dizzy. So I just wanted a light wash of color on this so it had more of a green effect like the other circles. I thought the cardstock was too green, and much like my blending, my first one was too green. I wanted something light. All right, so let's start building this scene. I have the vase, and I thought Blueberry Bushel goes really well with this. Thank you to I always show my downline, my card first, or my local downline, and I did pecan pie because I was bringing out the pecan pie of the center of the flower. And she's like, "Ooh, that doesn't look so good." So I reached for Blueberry Bushel, which I thought coordinates well. So again, we're going to build the scene much like we did our other one. I'm going to bring in some greenery. Do I have more garden green? And the flowers. Oh, you know what? We have to build this on the vase, not around the background. So let's start that over. Now, what I'd recommend here is you put some tear and tape on the back of your vase, so as you start sticking things down, they will stick. I think tape runner would work too. Tear and tape is just stronger. Let's hope that's enough. Okay, so I'm going to build from the back up. So let's put these. These are in Granny Apple Green, the bow punch. Okay, and then these are Garden Green. And again, you could use the die that came in our add-on kit. I should build from the front up, shouldn't I? Let's see if that's going to work. You know what? I'm going to cheat. I have some, well, let's just put more tear and tape. I've got lots of this. and it's the strongest. Put that over that so stuff will stick. Okay, let's build from the front up. So 1 daffodil, 2, and 3. Should have stuck the one in the center first. Okay, the dark greenery for contrast there. And then I ran out of tear and tape. I've covered it all up. Okay, and then I'm going to stick my vowels on with some adhesive. So I'm going to put some Tombow multi-purpose glue back there. Hold it up and stick this guy back there. Trying to get my fingers all in it. And then this guy. Okay, quite a full vase, but I like it. So lots of greenery, flowers, etc. Full mature. Now, if you want to make sure that all stays, I'm going to take some tear and tape and put it over the back. My fingers are sticky now. All right, kind of a fussy vase. You can make it as simple or as fussy as you'd like. Sticky fingers. And then find my blended circle. All right, so we're going to put him on like that. So let's get some adhesive to put more on the vase. We can put some on the little bow punches. It will hang over, so watch that. Now, had I not messed this one up and you used the envelope and it wasn't quite full, you'd want to make sure and put your vase there so it hid that didn't cut completely. This one I cut from just some scrap white cardstock, so I don't have to worry about that. So there's our little greenery piece that we're going to put on dimensionals. So how are you guys liking these? I love to read comments, so leave me a comment. I'd greatly appreciate it. Let me know from where you're watching from. I find that interesting. And the best compliment you can give me is to give me a thumbs up, share this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, I'd like to hear that you subscribed as well, so I can thank you. All right, so let's put this down. Again, you don't want any leaves hanging off, so they'll stick in your envelope. Now, I put a sentiment on this. You can, again, use any sentiment you want to, and I'm going to show you in my finished ones how I did that. So here I just put a happy birthday, and that is from the Go To Greeting stamp set. So if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber and wish you had more sentiments, this is a great set to add to your collection. It has just about any occasion. Again, thinking of you can be anything. You can write on the inside, I'm thinking of you because I heard you were sick, or thinking of you at your birthday, but it has a birthday. So these are just some things that I would recommend if you're looking for more sentiments. And the item number for this is 158763. Again, that's the Go To Greetings. And here's my first one. Now, my first one, I used the blending brush to make the daffodils like I showed in my first video. So anyway, I will add the sentiment to this one later. And maybe some embellishments. I think it needs a little bling. Every card looks better with a little bling. So this was my second alternative. And this was my first. That one's the one without a sentiment. I made these babies. So what do you think? Anyway, I hope you like these and it helps you give you some inspiration for how to use your kit and expand the supplies. So thanks for joining me today. I plan to have more alternatives with this paper pumpkin kit. So be sure and subscribe so you don't miss out. And so until my next one, have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.